So welcome everybody to a horoscope analysis, which I haven't done in a long time because of the fact my principles of not doing horoscope of people who are alive, more so of people who have passed away. Okay. Because unless they give you permission, you shouldn't do it. That's just the good principle of astrology. You know, you don't want to make astrology, if you really want people to respect and love astrology, then you got to respect the other person as well. And you don't want to make it a tabloid. If something happens in the news, oh, suddenly let me make a video on it, you know, to get more views and fame. That's something I don't no longer do. I don't care. I mean, I can get so many views from doing so many celebrity horoscope. I absolutely don't care about it anymore. So people who have passed away, you know, they have become part of, especially spiritual people, they become part of the universe. They become part of the Tao, Krishna, Jesus, whatever you want to call it. And at the same time, you know, you don't want to strip someone naked and show them, oh yeah, this person is this person is that, oh, this person is secretly gay, or this person is secretly having an affair and this and that. You don't want to do that, because what if their family members are watching? You know, they don't want to like that, and they will hate you as an astrologer. Like, what are you doing? Well, you're making a mockery of your own profession by doing these things. So take it seriously and don't try to strip, you know, people like a, you know, some tabloid website or tabloid newspaper. So today we're going to be covering the chart of Yogi Bhaskarananda, who's the guru of gurus, meaning he's the guru of Kapiel Raaj, one of the top best astrologers in India, besides some other people, you know. So he's Guru of Guru. Hopefully Kapiel Raaj forgives me for this. But again, I have learned from you about Yogi Bhaskarananda, and I'm going to be sharing my own analysis of certain things that we do not know about Yogi Bhaskarananda, which could be true. So hopefully if you're in Bharti Vidya Bhavan, we can, you can maybe confirm this with Kapiel Raaj and see if that's true, and maybe put it in the comment. It'll be great. You know, if I need to correct myself, you know, I will do that. But this is somehow something that I see how I would look at a chart, you know, if I, let's say, was to do a full consultation. So we're going to do this in a quick manner, not, you know, too long of a thing. So let's share the chart of Shri Bhaskarananda. So this is his horoscope, and I've made a South Indian horoscope as well, South Indian chart for all the South Indian, my brothers and sisters out there. This is the North Indian chart, which mainly I'm going to be concentrating on. Okay, so this is the Aries ascendant. He's born as an Aries ascendant. If you go counterclockwise, it's Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Libra, all the way to Pisces. So this is how a birth chart looks like. Okay, so this is the 4th house and the sign of Cancer itself. This box never changes. It's always the ascendant. So if you ever see a 4, 5 here, that means it's this Leo ascendant or Cancer ascendant or Virgo ascendant. So the very first thing that we notice in this chart is he's the Bharani Nakshatra. Now again, let me unshare this. If you do not want to know something negative about nakshatras, if you are, you know, if you don't want to run panic, please don't watch this. Because then I don't want you to be commenting 10 different things or emailing me 20 different times. I have this, or my children have this. Will this happen to them? Will this not happen to them? I can't answer that for you unless I look at their chart. Unless I look what is aspecting something, how it's going to be, how the negative thing could actually be a positive thing. We don't know. So if you don't want to watch this, if your children have some of these nakshatras that you see on the chart, please don't watch this. So it won't drive you mad or nuts. Simple, you know, because last thing I like doing is scaring people and giving them any kind of like a negative, you know, oja through my knowledge. So let's share this chart again. So he's a Bharani Nakshatra. That's the very first thing that we look at. Knowing he's a Bharani Nakshatra, what I see here, and if you are with Kapiel Raaj, please, you know, confirm this. At the age of 4 or 16, one would have either a near-death experience or near transformation. Because near-death experience sounds very scary, right? Oh my God, I'm going to come close to dying. No, it's simply, I have seen people who got into car accident and they bumped somebody, or a car smacked into them and their front hood was gone, but they were fine. It's, remember, the word is near death, not death, near death experience. This is also, have seen people who said, no near death experience, but I had a Kundalini awakening, which is what you finally separate yourself from your physical body and you see everything as a whole. So what happened? You separated yourself from your physical body as a soul, which is what death is. So why am I saying at the age of 4 or 16 it would have happened? And this is something we understand, that I really understood in nakshatras. And when I shared it with Dr. Pai and his team, they were like, yes, it's working. Fourth from any house or any planet is the stored karma of that house. Okay. So if Bharani is a nakshatra of the first house of body, the self, the vitality, fourth from it is the storage of that nakshatra script. The script becomes somewhat active. Now, Bharani is not just about near-death experience. This is about everything. There's like 50 truckload of things we can say about this Bharani. But why did I say 4 and 16? Because if you use Padham Chakra, where first house becomes the first year of your life, second house becomes the second year, third house becomes the third year, fourth house becomes the fourth year, all the way till the 12th house, which is the 12th year. Then you go back to the first house as 13th year, 14th year, 15th year, 16th year. So 4th year, 16th year, and then 28th year is where the nakshatra script, some part of the nakshatra script comes alive. If you experience one of the other parts at the age of 4 or 16, then you will experience the other part of certain nakshatra in that particular script. If a major planet transits let's say the 4th house, that script suddenly gets triggered. See it? It's very, very close to 100% accuracy. So we see that at this, in this particular ages, he must have experienced something related to that Bharani script of near-death experience or wanting to have out-of-body experience. Okay. But then what happened is at the age of 16, he left home to do sadhana in the Himalayas. Literally, I think for 40 years or 16 years at a time, and he took a break and he came back. So we see that, but if he did, maybe he had a near-death experience at his 16th year and he's like, wow, I'm experiencing something way better and beyond my physical body. And maybe that drove him to just pursue full sadhana. So we see that happening. Then if you use Padham Chakra, okay, we want to see why did he leave at the age of 16? See, at 16, what happened? 4th house became active. 4th house is home, dwelling, mother, right? And at the age of 16, 4th Lord is in the 9th house of foreign distant travel and pilgrimage. And it's conjunct Jupiter, creating a beautiful Gaj Kesari Yoga, unaffiliated Gaj Kesari Yoga. No malefic planet is sitting here. And then Ketu from the 5th house aspects the Gaj Kesari Yoga, showing that there will be attainment of spiritual asset. Gaj Kesari Yoga is about elephants and horses, right? Gaining of some big major assets. So here, Ketu's drishti, meaning aspect on Gaj Kesari Yoga, shows there has to be some spiritual gain of asset. So he left at age of 16 to the 9th house. And obviously, according to K.N. Rao, if you look, he started his Cancer Charadhasha in 1926 when he was 16. So Cancer Charadhasha started of 4th house. Where did the 4th Lord go? 9th house. But look, just from using Padham Chakra, we see that 4th Lord at the age of 16 goes to the 9th house. Now, you guys will be asking question, why didn't he leave at the age of 4? Well, perhaps he must have traveled somewhere with his parents at the age of 4. That is a very strong possibility that he must have traveled to some, Haridwar or Garud Chatti or some. Maybe he visited his grandmother with his mother, and he must have went. But logically speaking, what happens is when you're using the Padam Chakra, for the first 12 years of your life, you are controlled under the moon. So I see that, okay, this person has a potential to leave the home, and they will leave the home due to some distress within the home. But when will it happen? So for this, I may have to use Mahadashas, Antradashas, Charadashas. Fine. That is a great way to do it. But a quick way to do it, well, we'll make Moon the Ascendant for the first 12 years. Now look at the fourth house. Fourth Lord goes back into the Ascendant with Moon creating a positive Gaj Kesari Yoga. So there's no need to go anywhere. So at the age of 4, the first 12 years, when the fourth house becomes active at the age of 4, we just see he is greatly being influenced by the mother, learning classical knowledge and learning all sorts of everything about religion and spirituality during this time period. So there is no need to leave home. So we don't really want to say that you're going to leave home at this time. What happens at 16? After the first 12 years, the next 12 years is controlled by Mercury. So when you see the fourth house here, okay, we're like, okay, so fourth house, nothing's really happening for travel. But let's see Mercury. We'll make Mercury the Ascendant for the next 12 years. Look what's in the fourth house. Rahu. Rahu, Ketu separates you from your element, wherever they sit. They make you feel drunk about wherever they sit. So being fourth from Rahu, naturally we see something foreign happening. Some foreign person coming in or some foreign place becoming active. Then what we see, the ruler, the co-ruler of the fourth house, Saturn, goes into the seventh house. The bhavam of the fourth house. This is why seventh house is a house of foreign lands. Home away from home. This is why seventh house is grandmother. Mother away from mother. So now I can say, okay, at the age of 16, this person will leave without even looking at Charadashas. Just by this, we see that he would leave his homeland. But if we also look at other things, especially the part of marriage, okay? So Venus is in the Mool Trikon sign in the seventh house of marriage. And I don't know if he's married or not. I'm going to give my analysis. So please confirm with K and Rob if Bhaskarananda and G were ever married or, had a wife or whatnot. But Venus here can show us that one can have a great marriage, right? Great home. And we can see that, okay, at the age of 19, there would be a relationship. Now, we don't know, maybe when he was in his sadhana in Himalayas, he came across a woman and they just shared the most loving relationship for 1 year. Maybe just as Radha Krishna relationship, just two devotees talking to each other, wanting to. So perhaps at 19, which is the active age, because seventh house is the 19th year. That's really the point where we start engaging in relationship. We become aware of the other person. Okay. At 19, if we make Mercury the Ascendant, Saturn is in the seventh house, and seventh Lord goes into the 12th house. So we again confirm that, okay, at 19, there may not be a relationship. There would be more focus towards duty and commitment towards other people. So perhaps he was in an ashram, perhaps he was doing some sadhana where he had to devote himself to somebody much older and mature to him. And then seventh Lord goes into the 12th house of expenses and losses. So we don't really see that, okay, there would be any relationship here. Then if we come back here about the marriage part, well, what chart represents marriage? We go to the seventh house. The Navamsha chart that represents our marriage, our dharma of the ninth house. Here we see, first of all, if you look, he has Mars, Mercury, Saturn, all retrograde, meaning they're all going to be behaving outside of their element. They're all going to be thinking like an outsider. They're going to give their results as an outsider. And as you know, retrograde planet become extremely strong. And however their lordship is, they're going to make those lordships very strong, whether it's a benefic or malefic. Okay, so when you're talking about, I have a retrograde this and retrograde that, well, which houses are they controlling? Third house, sixth house, like Mercury. Saturn is 10th and 11th house. Mars is first and 8th house. Okay, so we see that in the Navamsha, 7th lord is debilitated in the 10th house, conjunct Saturn and Mercury. All the retrograde planets are in the 10th house. So that means marriage part, the 7th house part, is going to be very unconventional. It's not going to be the social norm of anything. And then Venus goes into the 9th house with Rahu as the ascendant lord of the Navamsha. So here, whenever malefic planets are in the 9th house on the Navamsha, naturally it'll delay their relationship and marriage. But then there's something happening here, which I don't want to say, because then again, whoever's watching this is just going to be like, oh my God, I have this happening. Oh my God, am I going to get married or not? There's certain yoga that is forming that I just don't want to get into. Okay, but just know that 7th lord being retrograde in the 10th house with all the other retrograde planet and looking at the 4th house of happiness from marriage, happiness from, you know, the bondage of vibha, it's really going to be very unconventional, and it's not going to be of their own satisfactory. Okay, so that's what we see here. Then let's go back to his Charadasha. This is how you learn Charadashas. So he started his Charadasha of Aries from 1913 to 1916. This is a Jaimini Charadasha, sign-based time cycle. So Aries is the first house. So that means this is his, when he was born, he had to deal with these circumstances. Okay. So what we see here, first of all, Atmakarka. Atmakarka, moon goes into the 9th house with Jupiter. From his birth, first of all, his sadhana education started. And father must have really gone to foreign long distance journey and pilgrimage and became a very, very highly spiritual person himself. After the birth of his son, Bhaskarananda, which he named, Atmakarka going into the 9th house with Jupiter naturally shows prosperity came to father, but father also became very deep into spiritual knowledge because he had sun in the 8th house in Scorpio. Okay, but also if you look, Atmakarka is with Bhatrikarka. Bhatrikarka represents all events related to siblings and all events related to the father. So we clearly see that the influence of father was very heavy during the first 3 years of their life. Perhaps father held them more. Perhaps father was there more than other times. However, we really want to see, when they get a little bit older. So 1916 to 21, he was in his Taurus Charadasha. We make Taurus the Ascendant. Okay. So what happens is whenever a Charadasha we study, we first see which house is the Charadasha about. Well, and from his ascendant, it's the 2nd house period. So it's going to be all about related to family, wealth, comfort, foods. Okay, so that's where it becomes very dominating. Then we make the 2nd house the ascendant. We see the very first thing sitting here, Saturn, and Saturn is also the Matrikarka of mother. Saturn sits in the ascendant. So naturally it's Matrikarka, which represents all matters related to land, property, home, 4th house, mother. But Saturn is also Saturn. It's its Kark Avastha, whatever it's Saturn. So what we see here between 1916 and 21, he would either change residence, family must have attained a new property, and mainly he was influenced by the mother in this time period, and discipline, structure, organization skill in his life were given through the mother or motherly figure. Then we see Mars in the 3rd house for him. From Taurus, the Charadasha, Mars goes into the 3rd house. Mars is debilitated, but Mars is also Gatani Karka, planet of Ghatani Karka is a planet that rules the sixth highest degree of obstacles, issues, problems, relatives, health. So naturally we see that one would see that if they have siblings, younger siblings, they would deal with some health issue, some sort of a cut or a bruise, especially blood coming out because it's in the sign of Cancer. Or especially he must have injured his hands. Bhaskarananda may have been doing something, playing around, injured his hands. Then we also see the Atma Karka goes into the 8th house. So his life focus from this young age was about wanting to know the hidden mysteries of everything. What is this world? Where am I? Who am I? What is this place? Naturally, wherever the Atma Karka goes from Charadasha, the life focus becomes that. And with Jupiter, it is all about classical knowledge, classical literature. So from a young age, he was always engaged in this. Then comes the year 2021 to 26 of 4 years. I'm not going to go over every thing in the Charadasha. That'll take like 40 minutes. So we see that, okay, his Gemini Charadasha started of 3rd house. Okay. So 3rd house is also all to do with siblings, ego, information, writing, short distance travel. 3rd Lord is in the 8th house. So naturally what this shows us, first of all, he may not have had any younger siblings. But if we make 3rd house the ascendant, Atma Karka is directly in the 7th house with Jupiter, and looking back at the ascendant, because through Jaimini aspects, all the dual signs aspects, all the dual signs. So first of all, Atma Karka being in the 7th house shows that now he's becoming curious about wanting to meet other people, wanting to meet other gurus, other sattvic people to know about himself. This would be the period of confusion, like I need to know who I am. I need to know what is going on. Ghatani Karka goes into the 2nd house while it's debilitated. So naturally one would deal with some issues of nourishment, resources, money, or family issues. At the same time, the ascendant Lord itself goes into the 6th house with Sun in the sign of Scorpio. So naturally, this would be a period he would deal with health issues, obstacles, feeling of being lost. And especially then, Ghatani Karka aspects his Mercury and Sun, which is his Dhara Karka and Patra Karka. So naturally, just from his birth, we know, okay, that is Dhara Karka. Okay, then again, this comes to marriage. His Dhara Karka, which represents marriage and spouse. The Ghatani Karka of obstacles is looking at the planet that represents the spouse, who's sitting in the 8th house in the karmic sign of Scorpio. So naturally, this is becoming another part of that, not the other yoga, but one of the other parts of the thing where it shows, okay, one will deal with some obstacles within their married life. But then we go from 2026 to 33, Cancer. So now we come to the 4th house period, right? Like I was telling you guys about, 4th house is all about home, mother, dwelling, nourishment, real estate, land. So this Lord goes into the 9th house. Now we see through Charadasha, without using Padam Chakra. If you don't know Padam Chakra, forget it. Use Charadasha. From Charadasha, we see 4th Lord goes in the 9th house with Jupiter. We see that, okay, you are going to go to some pilgrimage or some foreign travel to attain some higher knowledge in this Charadasha. Okay. And Ghatani Karka was sitting right there in the 4th house of obstacles and problems. So there was some problem in the home, some obstacle within the home, some struggles within the home where he just like, that's it, I need to leave. Then if you make this the ascendant, this Ghatani Karka is right in the ascendant. So this is going to be a journey of dealing with obstacles of the self, health issues of the self, and especially during this period, he just left for Himalayas. Now, if you think they have bed of roses, and if you think they have like bed and breakfast there, especially 1913 and all sorts of hotels and resorts and internet, nothing was there. Still, there's nothing there. So obviously his journey to attain spiritual liberation will be full of struggles during this period. And then you see the Atma Karka itself in the 6th house with Jupiter. So we see that his daily routines, 6th house represents what? Daily routines, our daily work life, focus of Atma Karka. And remember, this is a Raj Yoga. Atma Karka conjunct. Actually, no, there is no Raj Yoga here. I apologize. There's no Raj Yoga. It's conjunct Bhatri Karka of the 3rd house of journey. So his life is going to be his Atma Karka naturally conjunct. Okay. If you go to the ascendant, his Atma Karka is naturally conjunct the planet that represents the 3rd house, Bhatri Karka, Jupiter. His entire life will be all about journeys, travel, learning, education, finding higher knowledge. That's his entire life focus. But during this period, his entire daily life will be all towards wanting to attain classical knowledge, classical literature, wanting to know about higher philosophy, religion. That becomes his daily routine. And since Jupiter is conjunct Moon, the health, okay, his health, his ascendant lord, is going to be in quite a good, strong shape. So as much as obstacles are there, still he's able to persevere through them. But also, let's go back to his ascendant. Let's look at his Karakamsha Lagna, the alternative ascendant of Vedic astrology, where you look at the Atma Karka, the planet with the highest degree, okay? You look at its position in Navamsha. In Navamsha is in the sign of Sagittarius with Ketu. Then you put it back into the birth chart, which is Sagittarius. So you make this the ascendant. Just from this, seeing Moon, Jupiter in the ascendant, okay, either ascendant or the 5th, but especially sitting in the ascendant naturally shows me 2 things. Natural love for classical knowledge, classical literature, Vedanta, naturally a great, brilliant writer, and perhaps he was also a musician, wanting to sing, wanting to play some musical instrument. But his entire life, especially having these 2 planets in Kendra from his Karakamsha Lagna, and the only planet, his whole life will be all about Jupiterian and Moon things. So you see, just from that, you will see the whole flavor of his life. Okay. Then we will move to the Nakshatra part. Okay. His Rahu is in the sign of Aquarius and Nakshatra of Purva Bhadrapada. This is, I think KN Rao has this too, if I'm not mistaken. I think he has it in the Pisces sign. See, Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra is happening in the constellation, I believe, Andromeda, like in the Andromeda constellation. This is that one Nakshatra. Purva Bhadrapada, Uttar Bhadrapada, Revati, okay, and even Magha. These are the 4 nakshatras that if you had 10 people, forget even the other nakshatras. Let's just talk about Purva Bhadrapada, Uttar Bhadrapada. If you had 10 people in front of a guru wanting to attain Kundalini awakening and 3rd eye awakening, and you saw the horoscope of all these 10 people, and in their birth and Navamsha, none of them had Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra or Uttar Bhadrapada, except one person. They had, so none of these people had all the nakshatras that I just described, but one person had Purva Bhadrapada in their horoscope. That one person will be the first one to be awakened their Kundalini and their 3rd eye awakening. These people have the easiest life to attain the 3rd eye awakening. Uttar Bhadrapada, they don't even realize they have the ability to change weather, rain, thunderstorms. Purva Bhadrapada always come across entities from other lokas, other planetary systems, whether you call it Palladians, Andromedans, or beings of other dimensions. And Rahu represents foreign things. So as soon as we see Rahu in this Nakshatra Purva Bhadrapada, this person will have their Kundalini 3rd eye awakened at some point in their life, whether they want it or not. It'll happen. And Bharani is naturally associated with the other side. Always associated with the other side of life because it's controlled by Yama. And Bharani people always love eating fruits. They love eating fruits and raw foods more than anything else. They may grow up eating meat, but somehow, some way, it'll just not. They will not be able to digest it. They'll be much better off with this. Then you see his moon in Uttar Ashada Nakshatra with Jupiter. No matter what task he takes on, he will succeed in it, he will win in it. And naturally, with moon in the ninth house of publishing, with Jupiter, the Karka of publishing, in the Nakshatra of Uttar Ashada will make him a prolific writer. Like he will write to access to your soul and pull it out. His words will change people's lives. So if you have this in birth or Navamsha, and especially in a right places where it represents a writer, or you go through the dasha, you will suddenly find interest in writing. And this also shows us having moon in Uttar Ashada Nakshatra, he definitely may have injured his knees at one point in his life. It could be a MCL tear, ACL tear, or there could be just pain in the knee would have come. And obviously with Saturn sitting in the nakshatra of Rohini, actually I don't want to say anything right now. So Venus, if you look at it in the Vishaka nakshatra can show that the spouse will have like a split personality, double personality. But see, Venus is his Amatyakarka. Planet with the second highest degree becomes a planet that represents your highest of ambition and the things that you want to rely on to make your money. Venus as the Amatyakarka, in Vishaka Nakshatra especially, he will have two different sources of income or two different careers. Perhaps he was a guru and an author and a writer. Perhaps he was a guru and maybe a teacher. Like there'll be two different career choices, two different directions to earn one's livelihood. But again, if you just look at his Vim Samsa of spiritual life, again, Rahu sitting in the 12th house of liberation and Ketu, and Mercury looking at the 12th house, mutual aspect between them. Especially through Gemini, they're both, all these three are looking at him, looking at his side. Now, especially if you look at his ascendant in Vim Samsa, because I know he's a yogi, we know we can look at his Vim Samsa. He is a Cancer ascendant. Remember when Sunili ji came and talked about Vim Samsa chart? So this is a Cancer ascendant chart. And we'll go back to the Janma. Look at it. This is the Moksha Karka. This is the Moksha triangle. Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. This is Moksha triangle. So whenever Moksha or Dharma Trikona become the ascendant of the Vim Samsa, it makes the process of liberation very easy for a person. This is a very small tidbit. Without even looking at anything else, just look at that and it'll show that one will attain that liberation in their life. But there's other things that I want to discuss. But again, you know, you guys will go nuts if I say something negative about this and that, because he's a yogi. He wouldn't be caring about this will happen, that, oh, I don't care about money or this and that. So I'm not going to discuss all that. But this is something that I just wanted to share quickly to see how we go about understanding a chart. And look, it just took me just to discuss 3 or 4 elements of his birth chart, took me about 30-40 minutes. And imagine we're talking about full consultation here. I mean, that, for me, I always know this. For me to do a full consultation, it'll take me 4 hours. Like you'll have to sit with me for 4 hours and we'll go everything one by one. Actually, minimum 4 hours. I would say probably like 5-6 hours. You know, I'm sure you'll all love hanging out with me, but that's how it's going to be. But, you know, slowly we realize that. And especially I wanted to discuss something with his, let me see if I want to discuss it, because then if you guys see your own Ashtak Varga, then you guys all will be like, oh my God, no, 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 no. Let's see if I can, no, let's not discuss that here right now. See, I want to be very careful about the things that I, even if you don't want to watch it. There's something else that I wanted to see if I can show here. Calculations, planetary. God, there was something that I wanted to see, but okay, that's fine. We don't need to really see that right now. But again, thanks for watching. And please, Kendra, don't be mad at me for showing his chart. You have discussed it, that's why I'm discussing it. So please forgive me. But anyway, if you got new to my channel, subscribe below. Again, if you want to know what your birth chart is, to know about your nakshatras, all the other career consultations, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.